County Appeals to order at 5:03 p.m. Roll call.
Mr. Bullis?
Here.
Mr. Lukasich?
Here.
Mr. Andrus?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Chairman Rowe?
Here. All right, can I get an approval of the March 22nd, 2023 regular meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion that we accept them. I'll support.
Roll call.
I'm sorry, just-
No, I did. Dave Anders.
Mr. Lukasich?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Bullis?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Chairman Rowe?
Yes. All right, before we get started with the waiver request, when I state the request, make sure you step up to the podium, state your name and your address, and then give us a little bit of information on the request that you're asking. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. First waiver is W1698-23, waiver of ordinance 069-2020, section 1155.01A, relating to accessory buildings. Location is 2664 Laverne Avenue. The applicant owner is Edward Ross. And I forgot to tell you, so this is a board of five, obviously, so we'll, in order for your variance to be accepted, you'll need 3 yes votes out of the 5.
Hello, I'm Edward Ross. I live at 2664 Laverne. So what's going on is we're looking to build a structure from Attica Lumber, a reputable builder. I had somebody from the city come out and give me a lot size that I would be able to build on the property, which was 30 by 32. And then we contacted Attica Lumber, and we went with 26 by 32 for the structure. And then my wife here would like to add the lean-to the front of it to kind of soften it so it isn't just looks like a garage, which it is. But apparently that 8-foot canopy over the structure is it puts us over in square footage that we're allowed. The total structure of the garage, which is 28 by 32, and then the lean-to would be 8 additional feet to it, 32 feet long, the length of the garage, which I believe we're on a number of 12 or 13 feet off our dwelling. The back south side of our property is a 10-foot easement. I believe we're going to cut 3 foot off of the easement as well. And the garage, the main doors are going to face east. The reason we're looking to build this structure is to, we have some antique and classic cars and somewhat of, I like to call them sports cars. Between me and my wife, we have 6-7 vehicles. We've got a 21-foot dovetail trailer. We have a Yamaha Banshee. We have a Can-Am. We've got hobbies. When we purchased the home, I should have checked with zoning to make sure that it was a buildable lot, because of course the realtor, just to sell me the house, tells me, well, the house is on partial 147 and 148, and it's a buildable lot. So before I give Attica Lumber a large down payment, I just want to make sure that this was going to be feasible. Well, after I came and talked to the gentleman at Oregon, this is actually over what I'm allowed. The reason that the hardship why we wanted to build the building is, of course, the storage of some of our vehicles and trailers. And we live on the corner of Laverne and Whittlesey, and we got maybe a 50, 60-foot road from Laverne to the dead end of Whittlesey there. My garage is side load, as well as my neighbor Bruce's. We're the only two that really utilize that street. Bruce's wife is, she is in a wheelchair. I want to maybe paralyzed. We get a lot of EMS and fire trucks over there. So I do what I can to keep my vehicles off of Whittlesey as well as in front of my house, because like I said, we have 6, 7 vehicles. Plow trucks, school buses come down Laverne to make a left on Whittlesey every morning. So we do a pretty well job at keeping all of our vehicles maintained on our property, except for the 3 that we have in a storage unit on Navarre Avenue. Well, it's coming to a point where, you know, I've got $5,000, $6,000 in storage units for these vehicles. Yes, I could sell them, but these are vehicles that we take to car shows. I shouldn't have to sell my vehicles. Just, I don't know. We love our vehicles and our hobbies. We're just trying to keep everything that we have on our property. And by building this garage, I believe that it should definitely help us with our vehicles and our storage and not having to rent a storage unit. And as well as it would definitely help, you know, the neighbor Bruce, him and his wife. Like I said, she's in a wheelchair, a mobile wheelchair, and they're in and out of there all the time. And I don't want to, you know, I'm not trying to jam up nobody from EMS to get access to her over there. So I think the best thing is if I could get this garage passed, it would be great for us, and it'd be one less worry for them as well.
Why are you sitting so far?
This is where my name was.
All right. You don't have anything, Dad? You're good? You know who he talked to when he came down to the city? All right.
Yeah, I think the key point is that we allow 30% of the rear yard to be accessory building, and it is going to raise it to 65%.
And it's probably more than that, because I would assume there's a driveway going in front of this, right?
Not right now, no.
Well,
I mean, I'm just thinking yard. So you're not really gonna have much of a yard really when it's done.
So the lot itself is 74 foot long. I'm looking to build the width of the lot is 74 foot. I'm looking to build a 34-foot structure.
But I mean, you got garage doors facing off of that dead end drive. So I would assume you're at some point gonna pave that, which
Yeah.
means you're gonna take all that grass area away. So really you're left with a strip of grass between the house and the accessory structure, a strip of grass behind the house and a strip behind the accessory structure. And that's pretty much it for rear yard. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, if I put an in-ground pool in back there and concrete around the pool, it'd be about the same thing. So, like I said, the structure is 34 foot. The lot is 74 foot. So I'm on partial 1/4. I talked to this gentleman back here, Mr. Gilmore. It's just a kind of a catch-22 because I apparently, after he Googled the images, it says that I share lot 147 and then our house is built on 148. Well, our paperwork that when we bought our structure told us that our house was built on 147 and lot 148 wasn't big enough to build a home on, so they tied it for tax reasons into that dwelling when we bought the home. That's why I assumed that I would be able to build until I come to the city and talk to this gentleman over here, which is 74 feet by 140, 150 foot lot. I'm looking to build a 34 foot. The length of the garage is what I'm looking for on a 74 foot lot.
That's a 36 by 32.
Well, the struct, so I wasn't aware of it until I talked to Mr. Gilmore here. You know, I'm, excuse me, somewhat ignorant. I don't know. So the garage size was 28 by 32. Because my wife, who's going to be paying for this, she would like the lean-to on the front of it to soften it up. Well, the square footage, I had met the criteria for the square footage on the garage. But what I wasn't aware of is when you build a lean-to off the front of it, it adds the square footage inside your 4 walls. But what I'm confused is my dwelling is 60 foot long on the front porch of my house. So if I come here and pull a permit and I run a front porch and I tear off my OSB and I put somewhat of a lean-to front porch on it, that doesn't make my square footage of my home go up, but it does on the garage. So, I mean, if that was the case, I
It
would,
does on the, you're still counted as square footage on a porch.
I'm sorry.
You're still counted as square footage on a porch.
Oh,
So if you
I-
were to build a porch, you'd still have to come pull a permit to build a
Right,
porch.
but does that up the square footage of my home?
It's counted as square footage,
To the
Yeah.
interior of the home?
footprint of the house.
But it doesn't change the square footage of the inside of my home, correct?
Well, it's exterior, it's still structure, it's still considered part of the house.
So I could list my home from 1,500 square foot to.
What's your real
2,600
estate
square foot.
agent list? That's not, from a constructability standpoint, it's still counted as square footage to the structure. It's just taxable different.
I mean, even without the lean-to, Jim, it still doesn't meet
So
it doesn't meet the square. footage.
That's correct. Doesn't meet the 30%.
And this being a dead-end road, a partial road, is this considered a corner lot?
Well, it is a corner lot. Yes, it is a corner lot.
So technically, he's not in the backyard
Well,
anyway, because of the abnormalcy of the lot.
He is in, the owner has the ability to pick his front yard on a corner lot, and the opposite of the front yard is the rear yard, okay?
Okay.
He actually has two front yards, but in order for accessory buildings, he has a side yard and a rear yard, okay?
So the gentleman
And two
said I
front
had-
yards.
He said I had 2 front yards. Well, does that mean I have 2 backyards?
No,
No.
you have two front yards, a rear yard, and a side yard.
Okay. And so the reason, I mean, what I'm looking for is because the photos that you folks are looking at here is the storage units on Navarre Avenue, the old horrible three-way plaza, the Oregon Arms or whatever apartments those are. We're back up to a dead-end street. We have nothing but commercial businesses behind me. It doesn't look like anyone else is here to raise any fuss over this. I'm just trying to, we're just looking to try and build the structure that we like. We're going with a reputable builder. Of course, everything would have to go through Oregon for zoning and permits and everything. I mean, I'm just trying to, it's not gonna be nice, or it's not me and my buddies, a bottle of Jack Daniel's gonna try to build this on Saturday, Sunday, so you guys don't catch me. We're just trying to build something nice, something that I'm sure that's gonna raise the value of my home and probably raise the value of other people's home. It's up to you guys whether we can build it or not. But we're just kind of, it's getting to the point where our hobbies are costing me a lot of money to keep all these vehicles. And again, I could line all my cars up all around the whole structure, but it's kind of an eyesore doing that, Of course, I would leave my trailer on my property because it wouldn't be attached to my truck. You can't park on a public road.
Jim, would you ever foresee that they would vacate that road? I mean, is that
I don't believe so, because the neighboring property across the street needs to use it to access their property.
Both of them do. So
Yeah.
they're both sides.
So
of the garage.
I think that it's just gonna remain like it is forever, a dead-end street.
okay?
There's no way, like, I could talk to someone, like, the guy, I mean, I don't know how Bruce is it something where I could buy that road?
Probably not. If it's not going to be vacated, then it's
Right, okay.
not for sale.
Okay.
And it is improved to the dead end.
How tall is this building gonna be?
17.5 feet, sir. It is marked on, if you have one of the papers, it's marked at there's a little side note that's written in ink. That says 17.5. I believe it's that one right there, so I don't know if you have the one. If you have the
No.
copy. But there is another one that says 17.5 feet with a slope of it'd be a 4 pitch on it.
Are we talking 17.5 feet to the sidewalls, then the pitch?
which is gonna be the gable end, the highest point of the garage.
Highest point 17 point.
Yes, sir.
And is it a pole barn or is it a foundation structure?
They're calling it a post barn. With the prices of lumber, I mean, it's an expensive structure, but with the prices of wood right now, it's, we just think they look better, overall.
Any other questions from the board? Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? Make sure you step up to the podium, do the same things. Sign in, state your name, address.
Hello, my name is Donovan Ross. Edward is my father. I was born here in Oregon, and I've lived with him a couple of times over the years, going to school for engineering, as well as working at the refinery with the local 500 union laborers. My dad's worked his tail end off his entire life, lived in less than fortunate neighborhoods forever. And ever since I was a little kid, him and I have both been adamant car guys, to the point where I ended up running the University of Toledo's student automotive organization, UT Tuners, annually raising money for Flag City Honor Flight, a charity out of Findlay, to send veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials dedicated to them. So like our hobbies that he's referring to, those are huge for us, because those are things that he never had an opportunity to do until just within the last 5 or 6 years. And, you know, things that I haven't really had an opportunity to do until pretty much the last 5 or 6 years myself. Up until July of, I believe July of 2020, my father had never owned his own home, lived in, again, less than fortunate neighborhoods, townhouses, apartments, renting, you know, places with buddies, things like that. And him and my stepmother, Rochelle, here, were finally able to, get their stuff together and purchase a house here in Oregon, on Laverne, and that corner lot we're talking about. Since moving in, they've been very, adamant, good neighbors, best lawn in the yard, keeping up with everything, best holiday decorations, always cleaning up outside, never any trash. If any of you guys have kids that go trick-or-treating, everybody knows their house because it is the best, house on the block. As far as the hardships that they're having, not only, the space issue with, the cars and possibly having to downsize those to not block up all of the road, but with the freeway plaza back there, there's been homeless people back there. Nothing against them. Everybody has, tough times, but they're back there drinking, urinating, leaving trash, yelling, hooting and hollering through the middle of the night. That's an issue they've had. They've had water runoff from all the concrete back there, just rolling into the back end of their yard, the north end of the yard, rather. There's been people from, like, younger kids from that apartment complex over there jumping the fence in the middle of the night, cutting through their yard, and to one point calling my dad the N-word and taking off running. And then there's obviously the storage units over there. There's been issues with people working on stuff in the storage units, at night, causing a bunch of noise. Like, it's all, like he said, it's all commercial back there. And, outside of, maybe some generated revenue for the city, it's nothing but a pain in the butt for pretty much anybody along the north side of Laverne. And what he's trying to do here is to finally upgrade a little bit, block off some of the commercial monotony that's going on back there, to have a little bit more of a private space to help the property value a little bit, have some extra space for them, and to keep everything off the street. I'm a local real estate agent. My opinion is to move out of the city altogether. Because the whole backyard, side yard thing is kind of monotonous. I mean, I know there's zoning rules and everything, and it's for a good reason. it's, unfortunately not something that could just be open for interpretation, because anybody that would walk back there that hasn't read any zoning code would agree that that would be a backyard. But obviously it's not, in what you said. So I'm definitely for this. I think it's definitely going to block off some of the stuff in the back, and the awning coming off, I also think would be a nice add to the building, because it's not just going to look like another storage unit back there. You're going to tell that it's somebody that takes care of their property and obviously cares about the community and, invests into it, not only for themselves, but for everybody and whatnot, and gives back when it comes to like the holiday season. So I'm for it. I don't think there's anybody that would really be against it outside of, some pretty basic rules and whatnot. But, thank you guys for hearing me this afternoon.
Thank you. Anybody else here speak for or against the matter?
I live at 2802 Laverne, which is on the same side as Ed Ross lives on, which my backyard is right by Matthews Ford or Bowman's Ford's new structure that they just built. So the problems that I run into is their lighting coming in through our house and everything else. So I understand what he's asking for. He's asking to build something that, like Donovan said, is kind of, you go over there, it's his backyard. But it would kind of take away from him seeing freeway, which that is still all tore up or whatever they're doing there, and those apartments that everybody can just look right into his backyard. So like I said, with that building there, it would seem that it would still be in his backyard. So I'm for it because of that reason.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? All right, with that, I would entertain a motion. Well,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
roll call.
Mr. Andrus,
Yes.
Mr. Golis,
Yes.
Mr. Vukatech,
Yes,
Mr. Reed,
No.
Chairman Rowe.
No. All right, so your variance has been accepted. You can follow back up with Jim at the Building and Zoning. And, with that, we will adjourn the meeting at 5:26 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.